Colorado has a new bill. It's been passed by the House, now going to the Senate. It would ban the standard shotgun. Why? Because you can take the tube at the end, you can take the tube off of it, and you can put an extension on it. And when you put an extension on it, you can hold up to, I don't know what it is, 12 or 14 shells. And that's just too much. Why would anybody need 14 shells? Why would anybody? Well, I don't know. I was just at the gun range this weekend, and I used a shotgun just like that. Why not? Why can't I have 14 shells? Well, that's only a killer. Well, no, it's really not. I'm not a killer. They're now going after the standard shotgun, not the extension. But your shotgun, if it's a pump shotgun, it can be modified. And so that's not, what does that leave you with? That leaves you with a shotgun that's a double barrel because 2 shots is enough. We have a second grader. Another student has been suspended for something that represents a gun, but isn't anything like a gun. Josh Welsh, second grader at Park Elementary School in Baltimore, Maryland. Suspended for 2 days because his teacher thought he shaped the strawberry pre-baked toaster pastry into something resembling a gun.
The strawberry pre-baked toaster pastry?
So in other words, like a Pop-Tart?
It's a Pop-Tart.
It's a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
Okay. Welch, an arty kid, reportedly been diagnosed with ADD, said his goal was to turn it into a mountain, but it didn't really materialize.
Yeah.
It was already a rectangle. I just kept biting it, and tore off the top, and it kind of looked like a gun. But it wasn't, the 7-year-old said. The boy's teacher was not happy. She was pretty mad. I think I'm in big trouble, said Welsh. According to the boy's father, school officials say Welsh also said bang, bang while holding. Now, see, I didn't know this. Didn't know
while
that part holding the pastry.
He's a little liar then. Did you hear his explanation? That was not part of it.
It was already a rectangle. I just kept on biting it, tore off the top of it, and it kind of looked like a gun, but
Can you hear the
it wasn't. All I was trying to do was turn it into a mountain, but it didn't look like a mountain, really, and it turned out to be a gun.
He admits it didn't look like a mountain. He admits.
Can you hear it?
But he omits that he said bang, bang.
But not only does he admit it, listen to the anger and vitriol in his voice as he says
he's
the viciousness.
A killer. He's a killer. Let's play it again, because listen to the killer tendencies.
It was already a rectangle. I just kept on biting it, tore off the top of it, and it kind of looked like a gun, but it wasn't.
Okay, can somebody tell me when, because the father said this is insane. So when are you going to, A, pull your kids out of school, or B, stop calling this insanity and start calling it what it is, indoctrination. They are indoctrinating our children to be terrified against guns. So when is somebody going to say, you know what? We really have a problem. I know why our kids can't read. Because our teachers are imbeciles. How's that one? How do you like that one? Teachers union. If you can't get your teachers to not be afraid of a Pop-Tart, if your teachers are so ridiculously out of control that toaster pastries are a reason to be suspended, your teachers are imbeciles, and they should not be anywhere near children. And I don't know how you argue that.
You can't.
You bring a gun to school, you got a case. You bring a toy gun that looks like a gun, you got a case. If somebody is going bang, bang with their fingers, if somebody is making a gun, I don't care if he was making a mountain or an automatic weapon out of a toaster pastry. It's a toaster pastry, for the love of Pete. Your teachers are out of control. And when are we, as a public, going to say enough? When? Does it happen? When? Can we all be together on this one? If we can't all stand together and say it was a toaster pastry, enough is enough. If we can't, then we have no chance of survival. None. Zero. Zilch. No chance. Stu, don't look at me like that, because I know you are already you're going down this line where you're like, we don't have any chance of survival.
Yeah, I've given up all faith in humanity. And this is yet another great example of why. Because there's actual disagreement, it seems like, about stories like this. This is not one school district. It's not one time. We could do these stories every freaking day.
Every day. Every single day we could do it. Every day. So when? When is enough is enough? Let me give you this one. Try this one on for size. Florida high school student wrestled a loaded gun away from another teen on a bus ride home this week and has been suspended. 16-year-old Cypress Lake High School student in Fort Myers, Florida. Fort Myers is not an out-of-control area. Was told there was no doubt that he saved a life after grappling for a loaded .22 revolver being aimed point blank at another student on Tuesday. I think he was going to shoot him right then and there, the suspended student said, not taking no pity. The student said the suspect, a football player, threatened to shoot a teammate because he had been arguing with his friend. Authorities confirmed that the weapon indeed was loaded, and the arrest reports stated the suspect was pointing the gun directly at the other student and threatening to shoot him. That's when the teen told the station he and other two people tackled the suspect and wrestled the gun away. The next day, all three were suspended. The teenager said, "How are they suspending me for doing the right thing?" The school's referral slip said he was given an emergency suspension for being involved in an incident with a weapon. The kid was a hero. You know what it is? Wait for the frickin' first responders. That's now what they're teaching you. Wait for the first responders. You don't have a right to do anything. Sit down, shut up, take it, you'll like it. We're the authorities. We're the ones that respond to trouble, not you. Don't you dare get out of line. Don't you dare get out of line. Wait a minute, I saved another kid's life. That's our job, not yours. When? When, America? When? How much is too much? When? When are you going to take your kids out of school? And I know you say, Glenn, how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? How are we going to take our kids out of school? How are we going to homeschool? I don't know how to homeschool. I know. I don't either. But we're trying. How do we put them in a private school? We can't afford it. I know. But I'm telling you now, our kids are going to be the ones that save us. In the end, they're going to be the ones that save us. It's not going to be us. And our consequence will be their actions. And their actions are being molded not by us, but by society and school. There's a lot of problems in the country. There's a ton of problems in the country. But I'll tell you, there's 2 breaking points here. There's 3. Financial. That's a breaking point. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, well, financial is going to wake the country up. You tell me when financial is going to wake the country up. The country's not waking up anymore, guys. This is it. It's not going to wake up anymore. If you can take sequester, and the president can come out and say, I'm telling you, if you go into sequester, all people's hair will burst into flames and there won't be a single fireman left. If he can release 2,000 prisoners in advance, because come Monday, we're not going to have any money. And all the prisons, the doors are just going to be opened up because we won't have any more money. There will be airplane lines. They will be at least 2 hours long every time you go try to fly a plane. If he can say those things and then nothing happens, and on Monday, you don't see that on the news. You don't see anybody talking about what happened to sequester. Boy, the president was lying to us, huh? Nothing will wake this country up.
The American people. And when have they shown that they will actually make that connection?
They won't.
The fact that this guy comes out and uses every scare tactic imaginable, then nothing happens, and they never, ever seem to put it together that this guy was lying to you before. They just move on. It's just on to the next story.
So if you are awake, let me tell you something right now. I'm going to give you a charge. You keep yourself awake. And anybody who is awake, anybody who is just like listening or watching or talking to you at the news, you keep slapping them across the face, because this body of the republic is hemorrhaging to death. And what do they always do? When somebody's hemorrhaging, when somebody has got a really bad concussion or something, you stay with me, stay awake, stay with me. The ones who are dead, they're dead. The ones who are asleep, they're gone. Forget about them. You keep people awake as long as you possibly can. Stay with me. Because that's where we are. And I'm telling you, we have 3 breaking points. We have financial. When this breaking point comes on financial, and it's already starting to happen, most people don't even notice it yet. But it's getting harder and harder to buy things. You've probably noticed that. Your money isn't buying as much anymore, so you're short. But because nobody is explaining this to the American public, and we don't teach basic economics anymore. Nobody's understanding what's happening. That is because we are doing a managed decline, a managed deleveraging of our country and our economy. So your dollar is worth less. Because of the policies that this president has put in, it is impossible for people to do business in this country. We would have, I'm telling you right now, I'm a small businessman. 8 years ago, we had 3 employees. We now are approaching 300 employees. I contend we would have between 600 and 1,000 employees if this government would leave us alone. On health care and on taxes, they would leave us the hell alone. We'd have 600 to 1,000. And that's every businessman in America is saying the same thing. Everyone, small business, big business. You run a bakery making pastries look like guns. I'm telling you, have 2 employees, you're saying the same thing. I don't know how to do business here. I don't know how I'm going to be able to survive. And it's all because of regulation and taxes. Your regulation and tax, they're not going to have to ban guns. Go try to buy a bullet. Go right now to cheaperthandirt.com and try to buy a bullet. Try. Go to Call Your Gun Store. Try to buy a bullet. They don't have to restrict guns. They just have to keep buying up all the bullets. And that's what they're doing. So the economy is 1. Guns is number 2. Big breaking point. And the third one is education. You take away our guns, we're toast. We're toast. You're not going to be free anymore, gang. You take away the guns. The second thing is, by the way, and I'm not worried about government. You don't even have to go to an out-of-control government. Just try out-of-control crime. Look what's happening in Detroit. Look what's happening in California, where the police can't patrol Oakland anymore, so the people are patrolling Oakland. You go ahead with your broomstick? Yeah, you go ahead. You patrol your own neighborhood. You take care of it when the police can't come and see you. And that's going to happen when number 1 happens. Our number 1 pressure point, the economy. When the economy tanks, the towns won't be able to afford their police anymore. And so then you don't have a gun, so you can't protect yourself anymore. Good luck with that. And then the third thing is education. And I'm telling you, we always thought that education was bad. We didn't realize how bad it was until we started looking into higher education. And then we really started to realize, holy cow, look at what's going on. It's full-fledged indoctrination. This president now is looking to take your kids and make universal pre-kindergarten. So your kids will be in with preschool all the way through college. It'll be a government indoctrination. Congratulations. If you think your kid is going to love this country, understand this country, or even understand, your kid will start to turn you in because you don't like the president. You don't like what's going on. And if you think that's crazy, fine. Read some history. Happens the same way every time. When are you going to take your kids out of school? There's eternal ramifications, and there's immediate ramifications too. If you lose your kid becomes a fighter for the other side. A spiritual fighter for the other side. We're not fighting principalities. We are fighting something much worse. It's a battle for the soul. When are you going to pull your kids out of school? When are you going to find another way? I know that's really hard, but I'm telling you, there is nothing more important. When you've got a kid taking a gun, this kid should be celebrated. This kid who's wrestled the loaded gun away from a classmate to save another classmate should be made a hero in this country. With everything that is going on, here's a kid who acted properly, and you're going to suspend him? Wake up, America. Stay with me. Stay with me. Don't close your eyes. Don't go to sleep.